So the first question for EDAD 768A class is, in what ways does your school or district make decisions using relevant evidence and available research? So this is something that our admin team has continued to work on at our school site, continuing to focus on trying to get the available data, trying to process it in a way that's manageable for our teachers and also our staff, in order to make the most of really looking at the data and using that to drive our decisions at our school. Something that our district has started doing last year was something called a data protocol. So, what they put together, our accessibility and assessment department has put together 8 different steps called a data protocol. So, when you get a piece of data, it's basically walking you through different questions you can ask, different kind of ways to model analyzing the data that we could use with our staff. And I've been able to do this in curriculum council meetings while looking at our multilingual learner data, and that's been really good to walk through that team of English department chairs, English teachers, to really look and identify where are the spots that their school sites need when it comes to data related to multilingual learners. We've also done it at different management meetings as well, kind of looking at district-wide data related to SBAC, and then also our school site data. It's been really challenging to do this at our school site, specifically with our staff and with our teachers. We have looked at some specific data with our ILT team, so our instructional leadership team. But like I said, it's been really challenging to do this, whole staff. And I think it's not, an excuse, it's just an explanation. But all the things that we do have to get through in our staff meetings, that would definitely be, looking at data and looking at just evidence for our staff and why we're making these decisions and why we're focusing on certain things, would be really powerful. And that would be something that we could definitely focus on as a leadership team this year, moving forward. Another question is, how do you make decisions that model ethics, equity, and integrity as it pertains to the role of the leader as a change agent? What I would say this year, the first example that really came to mind was when it asked, how do you make decisions? This year, when it comes to ethics and integrity and being a change agent, we made a decision this year, more of a reaction to our students and how they were being suspended exponentially, and we were having to manage their behavior on the racist language that they were using. So, usage of racist language has been something that was rampant this year at our school, for whatever reason, for students, for their home life, for them thinking that it was okay to use this language, for them not being educated on what these words really mean, from them, succumbing to peer pressure or, being dared to do these things. So what we did as a leadership team was we created basically an educational presentation for our homeroom teachers to push out and to teach our students on what do these words actually mean, what are they that they're rooted in hate, and that we have no tolerance for that language at our school site. So while those decisions were made as a reaction to the rampant behavior that we saw, going forward and going into this upcoming school year, we can be more proactive and we can send out those lessons. And we can focus on this targeted behavior that we have seen with our students historically in the previous year, that hopefully we can get ahead of it this year so that it doesn't become a problem again like it was last year. But what we've had to do is we have had to work hard on repairing our communities that this language has hurt. And so I'm hopeful that this year we can take a stance more of less punitive and more community building on, you wouldn't want to even use those words or use that language because number one, you're educated about it and you know how hurtful and how hateful it is, but also because you see your fellow students as a community member and as a part of your community, even if they don't look like you or if they don't, identify as who you are, that you wouldn't want to use that language to hurt anybody, that would be something that you wouldn't do because you see yourself as a part of the community, just like everybody else is. So that would be something that I would definitely use as an example, that goes into the teaching and the foundation of ethics and the foundation of equity, within our school site. The next question is, how do you use reflective practice to examine your own personal code of ethics? A few different examples came to mind. One of them is constant communication. So I feel as a part of our team, so we have two other assistant principals and we have a principal. So as a leadership team of four people, it feels good to be in constant communication. So to constantly, discuss how did that conversation with that parent go? How did the conversation with the teacher go? What was the consequence that we assigned to a student? And are we all being in alignment? Are we all, trying to modify behavior, not just assign consequences? Because at the end of the day, where a large part of our job is assigning consequences to students because of their behavior, if we're not managing that behavior, and we're not seeing a behavior modification, then we need to start doing something differently. And so I think as a team of four educational leaders on campus, our school site is so large and we do see so much student behavior within a day. It is really great to have a team to be in constant communication with and to constantly talk to, and to, just exchange ideas and to figure out, how did you speak with that parent, or how did you, speak with that student, or, if we have these students who are repeatedly exhibiting certain behavior, how are we getting through to them? What resources are we able to offer them? How are we having our counselors intervene as well? How are we, creating this multi-tiered system of support for these students when it comes to behavior, not just academics, not just social emotional, even though they're all very closely tied together. So that's one example that I had. Another example is just remembering our why and remembering, why we want to be educational leaders, and because we want to be change agents, or we want to be, people that other people can trust and that they can come to us and we can help them figure out the best way to solve problems, or to even just create a better school, and to create a better experience for our students, and for our school community. So I think that's something else too, when it comes to just reflective practice. I think just remembering, why do I get to sit, at this seat, and why am I a part of this job, and what am I doing here? I think just remembering, that we want our students to learn. We want them to feel supported. We want to support families. We want to make connections, and just remembering the why of what we're doing as educational leaders, at our school site. The other, the other reflective practice that's been really great, I think, for me is, having connections to other administrators at different school sites. And they could be at the high school level, they could be like me at the middle school level, but maybe just having perspective outside of your school site. So it's really great to have my team, to, go over all the different things that are going on with our students that we're seeing on a daily basis. But it's also good to hear from other people as well, to hear their perspectives, to hear what's going on at their school sites, what trends are they seeing, how are they dealing with certain issues. And some of those administrators are also new, like me. They're in their first, first, second, or third year of being an administrator. So it's just kind of refreshing and interesting to talk about, even though our school sites might be slightly different, and our experiences are all going to be different, but that there are definitely commonalities and there are definitely, themes. And so it's easy to talk to other people about, this job, and just kind of figure out, positive ways that we can encourage each other and also just kind of support one another as well. Another really big, piece of what's going on in our school district, and what our, district office leadership is trying to do, is they're trying to train our assistant principals within Fremont Unified. So what they're doing is they're gathering different ideas, for our assistant principal meetings next year. And instead of it kind of being more like an information facilitation, or just kind of an information like catch-all, what they're trying to do is, set up our meetings in order to professionally develop us as educational leaders. So that's something that I'm looking forward to this year. I think it'll be good. Even though we have administrators like me who are newer, we have some administrators, who have been doing this job for a really long time. And I think the more that we can exchange ideas, and the more that we can, get some pretty, I guess get continuity and get some alignment, is really good as well. But also to have the time to share our ideas and to just exchange those ideas. Even though, like I said, our school sites might be so different, our experiences, there are commonalities and there are similarities. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think that anytime, just the reminder of reflecting in any situation. And like I said, every situation that, that we come across is going to be different. No situation is going to be the same. But it is really good to take a minute and to pause and to reflect and just talk with other people about how you handle everything, because we are working with people, and this is the business of building community and building culture and really figuring out how we can best do that for the people that we serve and really looking at it that way, that these are students that we've been entrusted with and families that we've been entrusted with. And our job is to serve them and to just ensure their social, emotional, behavioral, and academic success.